What is the most important value for you?
For me, the most important value is rule of law. If we are living as a society actually has a contract, which is social contract. Otherwise, we will not be live actually like a human, because the human has some differences between the animal. Animals live with natural selection, but human lives with the rules and with the law. If there is a place without law, if there is a place without rules, it will be just a natural selection. And from the aspect of rule of law, there is really important thing. Everything is under the law, and law is in the highest point. Even if it's a state, even if it's a ruler of the state, even if it's a king or queen, everybody have to be under the law. Everybody have to obey the law. In such a society, in such a state, everything will be work better because everybody will be safe because you're trusting the law. You're trusting that everybody will obey the law. Everybody will be okay with these decisions, what judge says, what law says. If we are looking for justice, and it's one of the most important thing for a human, for me, there have to be rule of law.
I think for me is human rights, because human rights are protected in Europe by European Court of Human Rights, and this grants a big protection for all of the people. Because when you look at the European Convention of Human Rights, every right should start with everyone. So it doesn't make a difference between citizens of the Europe or non-citizens, refugees, asylum seekers, immigrants. It's for everyone, without any discrimination. And according to these rights, you have like some basic human rights just because you are born as a human being. Like you can go to the school, you have the right not to be tortured in any of the place. If you are in a trial, you have a right to have a fair trial by the government or anything. And you can think what you want, you can believe what you want, you can express these feelings in any way you desire without the limits of like hate speech or anything like that. And most importantly, when you are using these rights, you shouldn't be discriminated in any way in any part of this world. And even though there are still some problems that providing every basic human rights to every human being, I think in time everything will get better with more people who believe in these rights and more governments following these rights.
The most important value for me is freedom. Freedom to move, to be able to travel wherever I want. As an EU citizen, this is something that we don't have to think about because borders are open. I'm from France. Personally, I have the French citizenship and I have the freedom to travel like almost everywhere in the world. But this is not the case for most of the people in this planet. And I think this is one of the biggest inequality I had to see while traveling. When you have, for example, if I want to travel, the only problem would be maybe money, but I know that if I want to go to Italy or if I want to go to the US, I will not have to go through a lot of process. I'll just have to book my ticket and ask for a visa, but this is not a stressful situation for me. And this is not the case for like 80% of the rest of the world. There is also the freedom of religion, thought, expression, the freedom of assembly. It's an important value to be able to be yourself, to feel that you belong in your own country. And sometimes I think that in my own country, this is a value that we are attempt to forget, and it doesn't apply to everyone. So I think that freedom is the most important value for me.
I think it's freedom because I can't go where I want without freedom. I can't wear what I want without freedom. I can't just hang out with my friends without freedom. This is the most important thing for me.
I think the most important European value is the freedom of press, because people need to know what is going on in their country. If there's no freedom of press, people can't know what is going on.
I think it is democracy, and particularly it's a liberal democracy, because it is more independent and it depends on a constitution. And in this liberal democracy, constitution is very cornerstone. There are so many cornerstones for liberal democracy, like separation of powers. And for me, constitution is a guarantee for a citizen. This guarantee is here for their rights, for their needs, and their for personal integrity. And citizens should involve to this process. This process also supports by elections, which is one of the cornerstones of democracy as well. And it is the people who can decide, act, protest, and make a difference for their needs. And with that, we can control the ones who are in power. And these, the basics that I'm talking about, are the main necessities for independent people to maintain their democracy.
I think the most important European value for me would be solidarity, because when you have countries that put their efforts together in order to help people or countries in need, or when you have individuals that work together for the good of their overall community, is the perfect example of what the European Union should be and what we should all work together to achieve. A better society in which people put their efforts together to make life, everyday life, better for everybody.